Let's get right to that storm damage that we just told you about. This is in Franklin, as this morning several central Indiana communities are cleaning up after severe storms caused damage across our state.
Now, some communities saw the wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour during the height of the storm last night. This is video actually from Cass County as that storm was moving in. Right now, we are working to find out when the National Weather Service plans to survey that damage, but typically we know it is bright and early the day after.
Yeah, we do have team coverage this morning. As you can see, Anna Chalker is there in Franklin this morning in Johnson County looking at the damage there. We'll check in with her in just a bit.
But first, we want to begin with Matt Standridge, who's in for Chuck this morning. And Matt, what do we know about those storms last night? And I know we've got to look ahead to today's weather.
Yeah, we just have very preliminary data. Okay. This usually takes a couple days, as you guys know. But it's only really been, 8 hours or so since we had those thunderstorms. So let's talk about what we've seen so far. We had 2 spotted tornadoes across Indiana, one in Terre Haute, I'll show you the maps, and then also one just outside of Columbus in Bartholomew County. Many folks saw a lot of funnel clouds. Not all of the funnel clouds reached the ground, but we also had a lot of wind damage reports and hail. You know, sometimes a wind gust can be just as powerful as a small, EF0, EF1 tornado. So wind damage, we've got that across the state. We have about 10,000 power outages, especially in Bartholomew County where we have a concentration, but 10,000 across the state. Now, right at 7 o'clock, National Weather Service will be gassing up the SUVs. They'll be headed down south towards Columbus and into Bartholomew County for the first look at that tornado damage or possible tornado damage. We did see it on the ground, and they even put out a confirmed tornado warning. Kind of lights up in a purple box that Angela and Rob were tracking yesterday. The picture in the background, this was from Hendricks County. These are some of the supercells that we saw. Now, in this particular storm, we had a wall cloud for a second, and then the rotation broadened out, and so that's why it kind of looks real fuzzy in a couple different spots as the rotation just got larger and eventually dissipated. But the skies looked real gnarly throughout the day yesterday for the last day of winter. As promised, here's the map. 2 tornadoes spotted, and we could see more tornadoes being counted throughout the day today. National Weather Service has to go out and look at these reports. As you guys send in your damage reports, we pass them along to the National Weather Service so that they know. So anything that you guys see is really, really helpful. And sometimes even when you get a big wind burst, you can easily create a little bit of a quick gustnado, and those will be counted as tornadoes as well. But we have 2 spotted, one there in Bartholomew County, and then one just past the airport there in Terre Haute. But the one Bartholomew County, we believe, started south of Columbus, crossed the river, crossed over US 31, and then here's State Road 9, where we do have some closures this morning. I'm going to show you that here in just a moment. And then a lot of wind and hail reports across the state as well. Now we don't have the severe weather, but we do have the cold, and when you look to the north and west, look what's coming our way. We've got scattered rain and snow showers. Coming up, I'll show you who has the best chance to maybe get a couple snowflakes, not sticking, but who has a couple snowflakes throughout the day today. Talk about traffic this morning. We don't have any accidents around Indy, but we do have some road closure to talk about there towards State Road 9. This is Bartholomew County. Here's Columbus, so you're outside of the town. You're just past New Bern there on State Road 46. Here's State Road 46. And then we've got East Base Road about here. So this section of State Road 9 is closed right now due to some storm debris, and this is where we do believe that tornado that was spotted possibly crossed. We don't know how far it went, though, to the north and east just yet. We had US 36 closed there a little bit east of Pendleton due to some debris on the road, but that is cleared up. Now we're just watching the clouds get real low, and we've got a first look at some of those light rain showers coming in towards Lafayette. They're on the southeast side of the Purdue Airport. So West Lafayette here, you do see the road spray as that car was going by, but they're just about, Julia, to turn over to some snow showers.
All right, yeah, that's going to be maybe some tricky travel, so we'll keep an eye on that. But we also want to start to show you some of that damage from the storms last night here in central Indiana. These pictures were given to us from the Bartholomew County Sheriff Chris Lane.
So from here you can see the sheer force of the storm that toppled telephone poles and simply snapped them in half. Then in Franklin, heavy winds peeled back the roof of the Franklin Skate Club, almost like a sardine can here.
And that's where our Anna Chalker is this morning. And Anna, what are you seeing there?
Well, ladies, like you said, that roof is the damage that we're seeing here this morning. There's none on the ground this morning. It's all up there on that roof. I'll step out of the way so you can see. May be hard to see just because we're on that ground level and the sun is still not out yet this morning. But you can see really it has peeled away on the top of this roof. The owners here, this is at the Franklin Skate Club just off of 31. They say the skate club itself was not damaged inside because only one layer of the roof peeled off, but they do say they're probably going to have to take the entire roof off just due to the damage done to it. The owner told us he actually went up onto the building yesterday just to kind of see what was going on. He will be coming back out here this morning just to get a better look at everything once the sun comes up. But again, this happened at the skate club. It happened specifically in a building that storages some of their RVs and boats throughout the season. But again, like we said, the rink was not damaged, the inside, anything. So that is good to know that really only the damage was outside on that roof. Also, another good thing to note, no one was injured here in Franklin last night. We do know there was staff and customers inside the rink. They were sheltered inside the bathroom, but they were able to get outside. And as crews make their way out here this morning, we'll be checking in with them and we'll have more information from them, hopefully coming up at 6:30.
Very, very glad to hear that everyone that was inside is okay, though, Anna. We'll check in with you soon.
And we want to remind you that we do have a dedicated weather app just to give you minute-by-minute updates when that weather change is here in central Indiana. As you've heard, we're looking at a little bit of snow that could be moving in today.
So you'll want to be able to download that right now. It is free. It's available on all of the app stores as you would normally buy them. Your time is 6:06. This morning, a lawsuit is being filed against a former Broad Ripple nightclub after a mass shooting there at the business. In the complaint, Dwayne Little says that he was hit in the leg by a stray bullet and caused serious injury. This was March of last year at Land Sharks on Broad Ripple Avenue. The suspected gunman killed one person and injured 5 others. At the time, detectives said that 2 women started arguing in that bar before a shooting. The lawsuit that Little now says that the nightclub's operators should have known the risk and that they failed to provide adequate security before the shooting. Now Little is suing for compensatory damages and demanding a trial by jury. We did reach out to Land Sharks management about that lawsuit. When we hear back, we'll pass along any new information. We can tell you that 25-year-old Nicholas Folk here is facing multiple charges in that shooting, including murder, though no trial date has been set.
Well, this morning there is a push to find the person responsible for vandalizing a Hallville church and other property. Investigators are now focusing in on the growing problem of graffiti in that particular community. On Monday, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church was spray painted, vandalized there with vulgar and obscene language. Now, both the building and even the church bus was targeted by those vandals. Yesterday, volunteers were out there helping remove the profanity and the symbols. Church leaders say they see this as a cry for help from someone.
This point, really praying for them, for anybody to come to the house of God and to do this, you know, it lets us know that they really need some help.
Now, this is not the first time this kind of thing has happened recently in this area. People in Hallville say they've seen an increase in vandalism and graffiti. They tell us they are working with police officers in the neighborhood and leaders there to cover up that damage and hopefully identify suspects. This morning, a high school student in Morgan County is under arrest after allegedly making threats on social media. The FBI quickly alerted local police and Martinsville High School, delaying dismissal on Tuesday for hundreds of students. School leaders say the threat stemmed from a, quote, girl-boy situation and not an active planned school-wide shooting. Experts say teens do need to understand that making online threats can have serious consequences.
Even if you delete it, there are, people screenshot, things get sent and reported. And, making threats towards anyone is going to be met with a consequence because we want to make sure that everyone is being safe.
Martinsville school leaders do say they plan to take legal action against the students involved and through the school's discipline policies.
Well, there's a new violence prevention program that is making an impact in the lives of Hoosiers as it aims to help people process trauma from gun violence and find a path toward healing. It is called the Transformational Beats Program through Healing Hearts. The program uses songwriting, audio engineering, and digital storytelling. And the program also has a trained therapist to meet with each person. It helps Hoosiers like Rayshawn Furman tell his story.
I'd have been in federal prison, I'd have been in state prison, and it was due to carrying guns, just young situations. I was young, so I overcame all that through going through the programs, with NDPs.
Now, the director of operations at the Inspire Music Collective, his name is Ed Lanier, and he says that addressing the root causes of violence is a big part of cutting down on violence overall in our communities.
Well, the first round of March Madness is here, and the Boilermakers are up, taking on High Point this afternoon.
Purdue is Indiana's only team that's playing in the tournament, and Purdue is a 4 seed and High Point is a 13. So the Boilers finished the regular season 22-11. High Point finished 22-5.
Tip-off for this one is at 12:40 in Providence, Rhode Island. We will, of course, have highlights from Dominic Miranda, who is in Providence. That's starting at 4 p.m.
There we go. Meantime, though, the Pacers are headed to Brooklyn tonight after that win in Texas against the Mavs, 135-131. If you stayed up for this one, we had the game right here on WTHR.
Yeah, so the blue and gold have won their last 2 games. So tonight the team will be looking for a 3rd in a row. Pascal Siakam last night led the team with 29. Ben Mathurin showing out in the 4th quarter, putting up 16 points, helping the Pacers make that comeback in just the final minutes of the game. Came down to the final seconds, but the Pacers eked out this win.
And so another game tonight. Tip-off once again is at 7 with the Nets.
Well, this morning, President Trump expected to sign an executive order dismantling a government department.
There's a final roadblock that's standing in the way of the president. We'll break it down at 6:15.